Welcome, one and all, to Razor Fist Arcade Live. And we figured with Polygon going full fucking Polygon this week and arguing that because Irving Spider-Man is so fucking good that therefore a Daredevil game must be pointless.
Yeah.
Almost as pointless as your fucking coverage, Polygon. We figured it was about high time for us to do another Let's Pitch a Daredevil game stream. I also wasn't fully satisfied, if I'm being perfectly honest, with the last one because we didn't get super in-depth and we couldn't get a Daredevil game to work. But we've got one working now, so let's do it. But first, we have a gajillion fucking chats. Jesus.
You crazy motherfucker.
I know. What the
swear to God.
fuck?
You do this to spite me, don't you?
you know he ain't one for fancy book learning.
Whatever. Some of these words are hard.
You're letting me loose?
And not real, either.
They're letting you loose.
Let's try to blow through some of these. Alex Siekman says, what are your thoughts on the postmodernist moron known as H. Bomber Guy?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Okay. Also,
Sorry.
What are your thoughts on Shadow of the Uncharted Raider? The new Tomb Raider.
Oh. I haven't seen much about it. I know I wasn't interested in
Bring
the
me a
last...
body bag. Yeah.
I wasn't interested in the last Tomb Raider, so why the fuck would I give a shit? So yeah, I don't know. Also, you have the super chats as well as the as well as the Streamlabs, right? Just making sure because I have the super chats in front of me.
Okay. No, these are Streamlabs that I'm reading.
Okay, right on.
Rick donates $1 and says, that's his name. Very nice. And he did actually donate $1. Taryn is so stringent about his sexuality that it's anal. My Nebba Razor had his rant mode set to rapid fire this week. Can Taryn bench more than Razor? Have you arm wrestled each other?
We've never arm wrestled, I don't think.
No, actually.
No. Yeah, I don't know. He can
take you to the bank, Senator. To the blood bank.
He, the most he can lift is when he's lifting the preteen choir boy corpses out from underneath the hutch beneath his home.
Hey, they can be heavy, okay?
It's true. John Wayne Tarangel, ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all motherfuckers need Jesus, says. If you guys want to know what Razor would look like with AIDS, just look at Styx, Hex, and Hammer.
Hey, I don't think it's full-blown AIDS yet. I'm sure it's just HIV. He's got the HIV.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did your parents cuss? Let me put it to you this way. My mother took me to see Die Hard when it came out.
Yeah, my parents were not that way.
1776 will commence again.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, my parents were not that way. They never cussed, ever. And I don't generally cuss in daily life. Fun fact.
All right, and...
What else? What was the other thing you told me she took you to see when you were a little kid? R-rated. Was it RoboCop?
Looks like we're shy of one horse.
Maybe? I might have been too young.
Many.
Love that one, by the way.
It's the best one.
Fuck. I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He's always being like, we'll be watching like a horrible R-rated movie, and he'll be like, man, I remember seeing this when I was 5.
Aliens! It was Aliens. Loved it.
All right.
Let's see. Anonymous says, hey, Razor, I've been listening to one of the Shadow radio drama collections on Audible and have been loving every minute of it. Thanks for recommending it during one of your previous live streams.
Oh, you're talking about the audiobooks.
Yeah.
They're
this
really...
donation has been brought to you by Blue Coal.
By Blue Coal. Good night and good coal.
If you smell what Barack is cooking, says, why is Kevin Spacey bad at hide and seek? He comes out at the wrong time.
No! Right in the door frame.
How do you guys...
John Wayne Spacey.
How do you guys conceal a gun?
It's just a question?
Yeah. I guess.
For
How do you
me,
do
because I
concealed carry?
generally carry revolvers, I generally wear a shoulder holster. So, which is not as inconvenient as it sounds. It's in summer, I can wear like a metal vest or something. You know, I had patches and whatnot. That's why I got a battle vest to begin with. Keeps you nice and cool, and you get to conceal your weaponry. And, of course, in winter, you got a leather jacket, which is handily concealable. So that's generally how I carry it. And I got a nice shoulder holster, kind of Dirty Harry style, actually, from a company called the A.E. Nelson Leather Company. Everybody talks about that El Paso saddlery, but they are fucking flakier than a French pastry. I could not get them to make me my fucking shoulder holster. And so finally I was like, fuck that. Fuck these assholes. I'm going to go with the A.E. Nelson Company or whatever. They're out of Oregon, and they couldn't have been more awesome. So that would be my recommendation to you.
And the next donations are all from YouTube. So if you would like to start with David Stubbs.
Yes, sir. I'll do a few of these, and then we will jump right into pitching a Daredevil game, because we want to try and stay on topic. We're not going to do... We'll do super chats in like big blocks, but we're not going to super interact with the chat today because we're pitching a Daredevil game. God damn it. We got an objective. So try and keep your super chats and shit like in some way related to Daredevil, because then you can join in with the fucking discussion and whatnot. Let's see here. 7. Jesus, even before that. The last. Hey, Razor, I'm getting a serious case of deja vu with the media and Brett Kavanaugh. It reminds me of Trump in the 2016 election. Maybe there's a connection, fingers crossed. Gorsh, I wonder. And typically, if you look at all the people who have been accused and have undergone this dogpile effect, you notice the only one who has come out the other side unscathed was Donald Trump. And what did he do? Say they're all fucking liars and go on about his business and refuse to apologize, right? Everyone else who dropped out of races, you know, whatever, they all got fucking shit hammered. Except Roy Moore, although he was dogpiled so hard. I mean, well done, Alabama, by the way. I just saw fucking Doug Jones on the news the other day saying we should listen and believe this fucking bitch. You fucking retards. Electing that guy over Roy Moore, you fucking deserve everything you get in Alabama, you fucksticks. Nobody messes with Adam Wee.
Psychos. I put him away.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee. What do you think of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker? Yeah, he looks like a discount Brad Dourif in Deadwood. A little bit. Here's what I think of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I think the same thing I think of anybody as the Joker. Stop fucking humping the Joker, DC Comics. There are other fucking villains. There are other characters. God damn it. BoJack Outlaw. Hey, Razor, I have some sad news today. My dog Rusty passed away. He was my faithful companion for the last 8 years, and I'll miss my baby boy. Can I get a Godspeed? Oh, pardon me. Can I? God, that wasn't terribly respectful, but I couldn't control it. Can I get a Godspeed for him as he goes to the big backyard in the sky? Yes. Ladies, gentlemen, press F for good boy. Godspeed, Rusty. Godspeed, bud. I know how much that sucks. Lord Squirrel Show. Rejoice, Power Metal Minions. OzFox GoFundMe has surpassed the goal they needed. Can we get a hearty Godspeed for him, Razor? Fuck yeah, you can. OzFox is one of the greatest heavy metal guitarists of all time. Fucking the albums he's cut with Stryper of late. Fuck the albums he's cut with Stryper even before that. He absolutely shreds. I'm so glad he passed his goal on GoFundMe. I know I donated. I actually donated twice. So, great fucking dude. Great fucking dude. Real Captain Marvel. Evening, gents. Thoughts on Captain Marvel trailer. I see how you spelled thoughts there. Well, haven't you heard? It's the first ever female superhero movie. Haven't you heard?
Ugh.
Didn't you?
What idiot said that?
Who was it? Was it Kotaku? No, it wasn't Kotaku. Oh, Newsweek? It sounds pretty Newsweek.
I mean, all right, let's not even take into account Wonder Woman. That just came out recently.
Yeah, just came out. Fucking
But-
Catwoman, which was awful.
Yeah.
Catwoman,
Supergirl. I mean, that
Supergirl,
was
of course,
way back
years
in-
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supergirl was forever the fuck ago. And that was another one I'm trying to think of, but I'm blanking on it. But yeah, fucking what the shit, people.
I mean, if you're gonna count Red Sonja.
All right, one more, and then we will tear into this Let's Pitch stream at Daredevil, shall we? David Stubbs, what's your opinion on the closing of Telltale Games and the canning of The Walking Dead final season? Is get woke, go broke a factor? Were they terribly woke? Was that like a thing in Telltale Games? Here's the thing. I didn't fucking play Telltale Games. I think I played the Batman game for a stream here once.
Oh, we're idiots. Elektra.
Oh, yeah, Elektra. Thank you. That was the one I was trying to think of. Featuring Terrence Stamp as fucking Stick, ladies and gentlemen.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
So, actually, Taran Gell can probably take this better than me because he was just talking about Telltale, because I was actually a little bit blindsided because the gaming media, I don't follow Telltale Games that much on account of they're not goddamn games. So I wasn't that clued into what the fuck was going on, but apparently, like, their sales have been plummeting, like, basically game over game.
Oh yeah, it's been dead for so long. I summed it up by saying that they just made so many bad decisions. Game of Thrones was awful.
Yeah.
Then they did Minecraft Story Mode, the game that no one asked for.
Yeah.
It's laughably bad.
Oh, and I was going to point out, like, the licensing on those games could not have been inexpensive.
Yeah, and by the time they got to Batman and actually did something, nobody was playing.
Yeah,
nobody cared.
On the surface of it, they just shit these games out. They're all cel-shaded. You wouldn't think they'd be that expensive to make. And yet you do have to pay for voice talent and so forth. And, of course, the licenses have got to be prohibitively fucking expensive. So the more I think about it, the less surprised I am that Telltale went out of business. They're basically making I Can't Believe It's Not Heavy Rain over and over again, but with cel shading and with extremely expensive licenses attached. So kind of not surprised.
You're letting me loose?
And, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do some Daredevil. And yes, we are letting you loose. We're going to be switching off in terms of gameplay so that I can sort of pitch my ideas more easily every now and then. Do you want to do that now? Do you want to play a little bit?
Sure, I'll start out.
Because I've played the beginning of this game a billion times. This is, of course, Daredevil for the Game Boy Advance. So should be interesting. And we're going to switch microphones here. So I will... Let's do that now. Actually, let's go ahead and switch the game on first. This is actually an underrated little game, kind of like a Super Nintendo game that came out in 2003. It was supposed to be the mobile variant of the Daredevil game that was supposed to come out in 2004. But, of course, they famously shit-canned that game, even though, if you look at the design document in retrospect, the game they were working on was basically Batman Arkham Asylum, but with Daredevil. And apparently, Marvel just didn't see it. Oh, open-world game with a fucking superhero. What are you talking about? With a 2-button fighting system? What is this shit? Like, Marvel shit-canned it because they didn't see how it was going to work. Whoops!
Then Batman happened.
And then Arkham happened. Fucking retards. All right, let's do this. Daredevil. Hiya. And here you go, sir. You may take the Duke. See if you ladies and gentlemen can still hear me all right.
I'm in here now.
It's got a pretty good soundtrack, it must be said, actually. Alright, cool. Let me actually listen to the stream, make sure we both sound alright.
I'm just going to assume these people aren't around. Oh, I'm super going to assume these people aren't around anymore. Press start. That was kind of racist. Sorry. Options. Secrets. Ooh, what secrets lie? Oh, you gotta unlock them.
Alright, sweet. Alright, ladies and gentlemen.
Start through. Pixelated JPEGs. No. Bitmaps. With the 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, nobody
Logo.
had seen these before because I don't think the movie had come out yet. So these were actually like sneak peeks. Oh my God, Affleck with bad red hair dye in his head. The fuck?
Kingpin.
Oh, right. Yeah, Game Boy Advance was massively underrated. It was basically like a portable Super Nintendo. Basically, if you were nostalgic for the days of the Super Nintendo and Genesis, just fucking grab a Game Boy Advance. Okay. Cool, guys. So,
Hello, Stick.
yeah, Stick is in this game.
He would say something like, "What the fuck are
It's-
you doing
It's
here,
already
Stick?"
better than the fucking movie. What the fuck? So, to start with, in terms of Daredevil, I guess, you know, whereas Spider-Man is basically, and I'm in the process of playing Spider-Man, by the way. Apparently it's a very short game. I'm already pretty far into it.
Later, Stick.
You know, whereas Spider-Man, by my reckoning, is basically Spider-Man Arkham Octopus. I feel like Daredevil should have more fleshed out stealth. You know, he is a goddamn ninja after all. Which is why, this is why Polygon's pace-swilling assertion that the new Spider-Man game, you know, makes it sort of pointless, air quotes, to make a Daredevil game. It makes it all the more goddamn ridiculous. You know, a Daredevil game, by goddamn definition, should be a more cerebral affair. You know, darker, deeper, like a Mandingo dicking. Ooh. I like how he immediately said ooh. No, you can't hit her.
Damn it.
No, you can't. I did not hit her.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Exactly.
In terms of concrete gameplay mechanics, I think first and
Flamin'
foremost,
D's.
you have to talk about the camera.
Ow.
Whoop them up. Oh, you actually have combos, by the way.
Yeah.
If you punch twice and then follow it up with the Billy Club. Oh, and your radar is the left.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
the left
I'm
shoulder.
all out of bubblegum.
Nice. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, there
Ooh,
you go.
there's power up there.
But yeah, like you would think for a game about a blind superhero, the camera is really crucial. And actually, contrary to all the cunts alleging a Daredevil game should consist of a black fucking screen, I think it's actually fine to have the game in sort of a standard third person, provided the player only has access to the same information that Murdoch would be cognizant of himself, right? Like. And I feel like there's a few ways to accomplish this.
Oh, he wasn't
I feel
dead.
like standard enemies being visible, while ninjas might be invisible until they move or exposed, right?
You sold out. You went to Netflix. Where's my damn show?
Good contribution, Terringale.
Yes.
Or but that's my feeling. Like, I feel like as long as the player only has access to the same information that Daredevil does, you're probably fine, right? So let's go to the chat real quick, because I want to hear you guys' ideas. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, chat. Catch up. Catch up, motherfucker.
Get on my level, chat.
Yes, there we go. Is Daredevil's blindness at all present in this game? See, my thought is you have to go third person, so you can't be literally blind. But you could have a separate and dedicated radar vision mode that gives you more information than your normal vision does. And certain enemies that wouldn't be detectable through your senses, I think they would have to be rendered invisibly or only hinted at somehow. So they could literally be invisible in front of you. You literally
You're gonna end up in
them.
Japanese hell, a disgrace to your ancestors.
Like the hand. You literally could not see them, or maybe there would be sort of a red like blur in a corner of the room or something like that to sort of hint that something is there, but you don't know if it's a person. You don't know if, you're not sure what enemy it is. You just kind of know. And yes, Jesper Kid would be amazing for the soundtrack, by the way. I forget who said that. Combine 047. That'd be pretty awesome. How committed do you want to be to audio-based sites, asks Asam Jessen. I'll talk about that a little bit more, but, like, you could actually skin this cat a few ways, right? You could have ninja enemies who can control their heart rates and their breathing. You could have them be invisible until they're exposed. Or you could try a sort of unique aesthetic where everything in your immediate area, almost like Fog of War style, everything in your immediate area is revealed, but details in the distance are sort of black and red and indistinct off in the distance, maybe sort of blurry or something. You could do almost like a Silent Hill fog or something like that, because that's still playable, but it looks cool and it's still functional. And then if you use your radar vision, you could actually see those details more distinctly. And incidentally, speaking of the radar, I mentioned this is probably the only thing I'm going to repeat from the last stream. The radar already has a perfect model that I think they should basically outright copy from an existing game, and that game is a stealth game, a real bargain basement stealth game from 2004 called Stolen. And in that game, the game's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And in that game, in lieu of a fiber optic cable like Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell that you like peek under doors to spy on people on the other side, or like peeking like a perv through a keyhole like in Hitman or Thief, you're actually gifted a pair of goggles that have sonar powers, basically. So you can see what's on the other side of the door, but only when people are making noise on the other side. And sort of, it's visually rendered as their foot touches the ground each time, the sound ripples out. And it sort of ripples off the walls, it ricochets off other surfaces, and it even ricochets off people, giving you this kind of tactical thumbnail of the room before you enter it. That is exactly what Matt's radar vision should be. It's just a world of red on black, like wireframe sound. Each surface gets sort of illumined as it bounces off and ripples out. You know, think of it this way. Depending on the environment, you would be able to see more or less. Like bustling cityscape, this would mean you could literally see everything. You'd see as Daredevil sees anyways, in your radar vision. You could see nooks, crannies, you could see through walls, but in a quieter setting, like, an abandoned factory or something. Say there's hand ninjas that control their heart rates to become effectively fucking invisible to his radar. Well, you can see the possibilities from a level design aspect already. I'm sure, like, picture a darkened room. It's utterly silent. You push the button and you switch over to your radar sense. Still blacker than Harlem, right? You fire a billy club against the wall, and it ricochets off, and suddenly you catch the blood-red outline of an army of advancing hand ninjas. They're not making a sound. Which, incidentally, I would make the billy club not just for combat, but for sort of lighting up the radar sense. You could ricochet it off of walls.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of map out the space, map out these dark places. The game would need to use, strangely enough, for a game about a blind guy, I think it would need to use dark and light a lot. Like, there would need to be a lot of dark spaces, a lot of dark rooms, because it would force you to jump to your radar vision.
I like the idea of just having a tap button, like having him like knock on the nearest wall.
Yeah, that too.
Or hitting the nearest thing with his baton.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we pitched in the last stream. But yeah, him having sort of a thing where almost like Metal Gear Solid, where you could sort of tap on walls when you're pressed against them in Metal Gear Solid 2. Like that. Only if you're in radar vision, that's going to sort of ricochet the sound out, and you can see this sort of red wireframe cross contour. I actually don't picture it as a wireframe. Think of it as those Paulo Rivera covers for the shitty Mark Waid Daredevil comics, where the cross contour sort of outlines in red the human body. It's hard to describe. I would have to show you guys a picture. But yeah, it basically looks like everyone's a red and black zebra.
Yeah.
Like that. The sound would sort of ricochet off of objects
Whoa.
like that. That's my idea for the fucking for how it would look. What do you think in terms of the perspective, Terengil?
Perspective, you mean like just what, the camera?
Yes,
or
sir.
no, definitely third person. I would prefer something close as opposed to like something like Spider-Man, where it's just like Arkham-ish and the camera pulls back really far. I would like something up close. I know you're gonna hate this suggestion, but fucking like God of War, the newest one, where it's like really close, but then it only zooms out just a little bit for the combat. I don't know if you know what that looks like.
Yeah. Gun Puncher says that it seems like that would take a lot of tech, though. But here's the thing. I don't think that's true. Because a shitty game from 2004 that had no budget called Stolen did it. So I don't think it would actually take that much. You would just have to figure out a good, solid way of actually realizing that. And, second. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to pause the stream. There we go. Yeah, somebody said during combat. Here's a question. How do we do the combat?
Gee, you know what? The one time it would make sense to have the radar sense, with the
hold on.
counters.
Before we move on, Dinnerman says there should be a goddamn dedicated grapple button. I like that, and you know what? I like it so much. Fuck. Actually, that dovetails into my idea for combat, but we'll get to that in a moment. Continue with your idea.
I got lost. What?
I'm sorry, you were beginning to talk about combat.
Yeah, where he has his radar sense, like Spider-Man has, or Batman has the fucking lightning bolts above his head, or Spider-Man has a spider sense where you can counter. I hate to say it, but it does actually make sense with his radar sense.
Yes, you would have like the little red ripples, reverberate out from his fucking skull.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I would go one further and sort of specify, combat should not be like Batman, or like its shittier variant, in my opinion, in Irving Spider-Man. There should be more stealth.
Oh, yeah.
More subversion oriented with real consequences, real physical consequences when it does explode into a fight. Because keep in mind, he's an incredible martial artist, but he is a ninja, which means he's better at inflicting offense than he is at taking punishment.
Definitely.
So, like, 1, 2, 3 hits, 4 hits, he should be on the ropes, to me. Like, he should need to catch a breather at that point. If you're not constantly inflicting damage, constantly moving, to me, you should be getting your ass kicked. But yeah, like, when it does explode, I feel like it should have a heavier emphasis on martial arts, acrobatics, basically Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is the easiest analog to what I'm talking about here, because Sleeping Dogs is way more of a martial arts affair. Sleeping Dogs actually has kind of a fully realized sort of counter martial art. There's combos and all kinds of shit. Multiple button combos, too, which I like. And also in that game, you can't take a whole lot of punishment. In Sleeping Dogs, if you've taken 3 hits, there's a good chance you're near death. So I dig that. I think that's the way a Daredevil game would need to be. But let's go to the chat real quick. And by the way, Sleeping Dogs has a dedicated grapple button and environmental contextual grapples. So like if you're near a wall and you grab someone and move them over to it, then you're going to slam them into the wall. If you grab them and move them toward a dumpster or something, you're probably going to throw them into a dumpster. I like all that shit. I think that would be awesome for a Daredevil game. Let's see here. There's a game called Luis Paez. There's a game called Perception where you play as a blind woman, and the only way to see is to either create sound waves with your cane or with ambient noise. Yeah, that's what I pictured the radar sense being. I don't think the game overall should look like that. But somebody wrote a super chat in Hebrew. All right. But yeah, that's what I picture. And of course, you would have weapons. So we can imagine how you would use your billy club. You would probably have like multiple combos where you could ricochet the billy club off of multiple people's heads, you know, and have it. I would actually like a system a lot where you could sort of whip out the billy club and then you could literally map out where it's going to ricochet in sort of a slow-mo vision and then just execute and let it go. I think that'd be fucking badass, personally. GM Head, what would you want to do story-wise for this game? A new story, adapting existing arcs, or being a sort of greatest hits of Daredevil arcs? Man Without Fear as tutorial level?
Jesus, this bitch is hard.
What would you think for story?
Oh, I pointed this out. I might have to stop this to say this.
It's okay.
So, for Spider-Man, there was Day 1 DLC where you get to play as Black Cat.
Oh, yeah.
So I was thinking, in Spider-Man the game, Fisk goes to prison like immediately. It's
Yeah,
the beginning
right at
of
the
the
beginning.
It's the beginning of the fucking game.
Which, by the way, is hilarious because Polygon, one of the reasons they said a Daredevil game would be pointless is because Kingpin's in it. What, for 5 seconds? Really? Anyway.
But Fisk goes to prison, and my idea was, well, Fisk goes to prison. Maybe Daredevil goes there to keep him there.
Exactly.
Like
Daredevil, you open the game. We were
Yeah.
shooting this idea back and forth before the stream. What if you open a Daredevil game with Daredevil committing a blatant crime, and you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is Daredevil doing? And then the police are catching him, and you're trying to avoid, and you're sort of working through the game systems as you're doing this. A little bit of a light tutorial where you're learning some of the parkour. Which, by the way, I would want this game to be more based on parkour. I wouldn't want Daredevil swinging around on his billy club a whole lot. I'd want him climbing up buildings and jumping off them, and, you know, Assassin's Creed style, but a little more extreme kind of parkour. But imagine, like, you're in this opening sequence, Daredevil just committed a crime? What the fuck is going on? And you're trying to evade police, you're escaping, you're running, whatever. And then Daredevil just turns around and stops and says, and with a smirk on his face says, "I surrender, officer." And then you cut to Rikers Island, and you're being
Cheated,
booked. And suddenly you realize, holy shit, Daredevil wanted to be arrested. He committed that crime on purpose. He wanted to get in there because Kingpin's in there. And that could be sort of your DLC or something. That'd be interesting. It would be sort of a soft adaptation of the Ed Brubaker Daredevil story arc, The Devil in Cell Block D. Yeah, that's my thought on that. I would also say I think it should have much deeper detective work than Arkham. It would have to. I mean, and certainly deeper detective work than Spider-Man. Using heightened smell and radar to uncover evidence even the Dark Knight would have missed, basically. Deeper still, because as a lawyer, you'll be able to carry each case to completion. You're not just investigating the evidence and then filing it away in some fucking bat computer. No, you're succeeding or failing in your case depending on how much evidence you find and how you want to proceed. Like, think of it this way. Did you find out that a child molesting shitbag isn't actually guilty of the specific assault charge of which he's accused, and that you, as Matt Murdock, the lawyer, are defending him of? Well, okay, why not throw the case? Daredevil's done it. Why not? You're in court. You know this guy. He's not guilty of what he's being charged with, but he diddles kids. Why don't I just throw the case? Or you could carry it through to completion and feel like a shitbag, you know, afterward. Let's see here. All right. But yeah, another reason the pricks at Polygon claimed a Daredevil game is pointless, like I said earlier, is because, you know, his arch nemesis, sort of, is the Kingpin. And of course, he's been used to exhaustion in Spider-Man, according to Polygon. And it's like, because apparently being in a game for 5 fucking minutes is used to exhaustion. But I say, fuck that bullshit. I say, in terms of story, steer into the Man Without Fear premise. Go with Mr. Fear, the original Scarecrow, the first supervillain to actually use fear gas. Have it be kind of a Batman Arkham Origins situation where instead of focusing on the fucking Joker, we'll focus on fucking Black Mask. Have Mr. Fear be the Black Mask to the Kingpin's Joker, as it were. Because Mr. Fear is a kick-ass villain, and actually is one of the few villains to, like, soundly fucking beat Daredevil. Go read the Fear Itself story arc, by the way. That'll definitely clue you in on that one. And, of course, you could involve the hand... I mean, you don't want to just relegate it to one guy, because that's how these games work. And Daredevil has a better rogues gallery than he gets credit for. So you could have little, you know, side stuff to do where you have to waste, I don't know, Stiltman or the fucking Owl or, you know, Purple Man.
The Living
like
Laser!
Or the, what's their name? The Unholy Trio, is it? The one that Mr. Fear ran. He had, like, Ape Man.
Oh, God.
And Frog Man.
Don't ask me.
No, Leapfrog, sorry.
Leapfrog?
Yeah, Leapfrog.
Next you're going to be
You could have
suggesting people like The Wall.
No, but you could have, like, Kraven the Hunter show up, or... Yeah, there's a bunch of possibilities, actually, for Daredevil. Like I said, he's got a better rogues gallery than he gets credit for. Alright. Should Taskmaster be a villain, too? That's actually not bad.
Oh.
Let's see here. Razor, should you have a lethal option? Now, I was brainstorming this before the fucking thing. I was playing Spider-Man. And for those who don't know, in Spider-Man, there are these playable Mary Jane Watson segments that are stealth for some reason.
Aren't they just the best?
Ugh, they're not great. What if you replace the shitty stealth with MJ with Elektra killing people?
Ooh.
That way Daredevil gets to stay non-lethal and you don't violate that whole thing. But you get to play as Elektra working against Daredevil's interests.
I like that.
Assassinating people.
I'm actually in love with that. I want that. That's really good.
Doesn't that sound fun? That's what I was brainstorming before the fucking stream. Ooh. Stitch Snow. What if it was about bringing down the Kingpin? Like every case you solve or throw would change how much control Kingpin has. I dig that. What if Kingpin had control over certain areas and other gang lords would come in and take his place if he was deposed? Kind of like Shadow of Mordor, where there's other gang lords, like, because there's all kinds of gang lords in Daredevil. There's the Owl, who is a gang lord. There is a Hammerhead, who is a gang lord. Tombstone. You know, you could go through. There's actually a lot of different gang lords. There's not just Kingpin.
Well, now, you also have to take in consideration the budget. I mean, are they going to spend that much money?
No. Here's how you keep the budget down. Spider-Man takes place in New York City. Where does Daredevil take place in?
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Do you have any conception of how tiny Hell's Kitchen is? It is.
It's actually in the Spider-Man game.
It's micro-fucking-scopic. Mm-hmm. It's like a block. It's a few blocks, but like you get what I'm saying. It's very, very small.
Oh, it's gonna make me go back.
So here's why that's awesome. Because instead of doing the inch-wide... Instead of doing the mile-wide and inch-deep thing, like Spider-Man and Batman Arkham Asylum, you get to go the opposite way. You get to go the Deus Ex Mankind Divided route. You get to be an inch wide and a mile deep. You can deepen the world of Hell's Kitchen so that there's more to do. Oh, pardon me. So that when you're walking past random pedestrians, you're not just ignoring them. It's not just like a lame encounter where there's no interaction of any kind. Maybe you could actually have conversations with people on the street because, again, Hell's Kitchen's not that big. So that keeps your budget down. It allows you to flesh out the world more. I actually think a Daredevil game would be more interesting for that reason than a Spider-Man game is. And the Spider-Man game thus far, I'm not going to give away my whole review yet, but it is fun. But that would be my conception of how the world of a Daredevil game would work. Let's see here.
Gonna make me go through and kill every ninja. Jesus.
Blind spot missions. I totally forgot about blind spot. Yeah, blind spot as a playable character, at least in like a challenge mode or something like that, like a martial arts kicking people's ass mode, would be really neat. He should also be in the story.
Like
Blind Spot's a cool character. Blind Spot is permanently in the Daredevil mythos now. He's just a cool character.
Yeah, just like Azrael was playable in Arkham Knight.
Yes,
that would be good. And he was actually just challenge missions, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
Bingo. All right, let me look at some of your guys'...
Yeah, I'm sure we're way behind.
Yeah, we'll take a brief break.
Respite.
What was the last one you read?
Oh, Jesus. Hold on, is there a pause? Yes. Let's see.
Oh, take it up. In fact, I could probably jump over and play a little now. Are you fighting Elektra? What are you doing?
I already beat Elektra.
Oh, nice.
I fucking cheesed the shit out of that. Yeah, let's switch here.
Sure. There we go. Yeah, you can. Okay. Oh, it feels good to have the Duke back in my hands. This game, like I said, this game is fucking underrated. Super underrated. This is something
You're
you
gonna
could...
end up in Japanese hell, a disgrace to your ancestors.
Did you read John Horn
What's that?
about the newest gameplay of Greedfall?
That was the last one I was about to read.
Okay. Oh, so you did read it or didn't?
No, I was about to.
John Horn says, he donates $20 and says, Razor, have you seen the newest gameplay footage for Greedfall?
Oh, hand ninjas!
If not, it looks good. The usual affair from spiders. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I have not seen that. I saw
Whoa!
the original trailer and whatever came out of E3, which was just another CG trailer. So I'm excited for that.
Come on, bitch. Yeah. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Avice says, can we not swear on supers anymore?
That would be a YouTube thing. I don't have any swearing filters on or anything.
Bryce.
Is there any...
Byerly? Byerly? Yeah. Says, everyone is giving you money, so I figure I should jump on the bandwagon. You don't have to, man, but we do appreciate it. It helps keep us going.
What direction? Do I need to go right or...
Right, you just have to kill all the ninjas.
Oh, that's all that happened. Woohoo! Ninjas!
Asum Justin says, sorry I didn't make the last stream, gents. Did
Woo.
you read that one already?
I know I read some of his chats, but not...
Sorry I didn't make the last stream, gents. Wanted to ask, what more do you... God damn it, I hate it when it moves like that. What more would you have wanted to see in a World War I sim? And remember, Taryn, a sentence a day keeps Alzheimer's away. Well, they say that.
There we go. Dead ninjas. Whoa, Jesus. Fucking lunging like a Dark Souls boss.
So what more would you have wanted in a World War I sim, if anything? Was there something maybe you didn't get to last time?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I would say, I think I touched on pretty much any. I think I talked about.
Japanese hell, a disgrace to your ancestors.
Oh, there we go. I think I talked about the weapon maintenance idea I had. Trying to keep like mud out of your rifles. Having sort of a back and forth sniper thing. Having a runner aspect to it, because that was one of the more interesting jobs in World War I and more dangerous as well, was being a runner between trenches, because, like, keep in mind, like, World War I happened before radio, really. Like, radio kind of evolved over the course of World War I, like a lot of technologies. So they had to just the easiest way to send messages, because trenches were constantly getting cut off and captured and what have you, so like wired communications were not terribly useful, was to send messengers. And sometimes they'd use pigeons or dogs, but more often than not, people were way more efficient, so they used people. Yikes. There we go. Jesus. Need some healing.
Alright, all done.
Oh, deaded. Man without fear, what has become of your honor?
David NS84 says, okay, I'm gonna get
Oh, that's Kirigi.
a couple of obvious questions out of the way.
What's up?
Chances are of a Kavanaugh confirmation? Question mark?
I think pretty high, actually. I think when I saw that poll conducted by the Huffington Post of all places, that 28% of men believe the accuser and just 25% believe the accuser, and then the even worse number was of people who are familiar with the charges, just what was it, like 46%? It only gets the probability, the percentage of people who believe the accuser up to 46%. That's bad. That's bad for the Democrats. It's the optics at the end of the day. The Democrats are about to lose a seat on the Supreme Court, and suddenly there's charges. It doesn't come off well. It seems like when you're trying to drag your kid over to the dentist and then he suddenly starts faking a cough. The timing makes you think, oh, that's bullshit. So it's not really playing. So I think the probability is better than people probably think.
And second part, my intuition says it leans likely, but I don't know. Second question.
1776 will commence again.
Fuck.
Cruise Beto race. How does it look in your eye?
Apparently Beto's not playing so well, or polling so well, I mean. So I think Cruz has got it sewn up.
And to make sure I didn't miss Avice's super chat, caught up on my Veritas videos. McCarthy 2.0 win.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? I haven't even looked that deep into the Veritas stuff. I saw some of the teasers, but haven't sat down and watched the actual video. It's pretty terrible from what I understand. It looks pretty bad.
Mr. DJ Flyhigh says, thoughts on Telltale Games closing down? We actually already talked about that already.
Yes, sir.
And also, I don't know whether I got an answer to my question last stream, but are you hyped for MythCon 2018?
I wasn't hyped for MythCon 2017. Whatever.
Also, what's MythCon?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, really.
I think Sargon talks at those.
Does he?
I think. Sharpened Edge says, if you wrote a book, what would it be?
Probably just be fantasy or sci-fi fiction. I wouldn't want to do some political book or nonfiction or anything like that. I'd want to create something. And I'd probably use a pseudonym, because I wouldn't want my work judged by the person who wrote it.
Cool, cool.
And I may have had it published already.
Knickers says, that's with a K. Thoughts on Dana Loesch and Gavin McInnes?
I like Gavin McInnes, what I've seen of him. Dana Loesch, more of like a gun rights person. I'm not super familiar with what she's done, but I haven't found myself disagreeing with her over much. So I'm cool with both. Gavin McInnes I'm a bigger fan of.
Cool.
Just because he's a shitlord.
Only Caleb says, God bless. Well, thank you. And thank you for your donation.
Woohoo!
Metalhead Martyr says, oh yeah. Razor Fist is here. Hold on. Let me get my pants off. And I think you read the last donation. Also, Razor, I'm calling it by either March or February 2019. You're probably going to hit 200K subscribers.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Did you read that one?
No, I didn't.
I hope you make one hell of a video to celebrate the occasion.
Yeah, you'll never know. Living in shadows is natural for us. Yes, red shadows.
Stealth Creations says, at MythCon, did you see Sargon being spicy again? Anything close to spice this time tomorrow?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
What did he do?
I don't know. I mean, I do watch some of Sargon's stuff, like This Week in Stupid, but I don't really catch up too much. I don't keep my ear to the ground.
It's mainly the cons that I don't keep up with.
Yeah. Debates. I don't watch debates.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
Merlin's Jester says, mad idea for you. Parasite Eve streams on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, All Hallows Eve, because this channel enjoys its puns entirely too little.
You're going to pun prison, sir.
Yes.
Does that mean when Eve is with us, she's Eve Online? See what I did there? It was at least as bad as what he said.
No, it was worst. Avi says, are they teasing season 3?
Good God.
They are teasing season 3.
Yes, they are.
I read that entirely wrong. But yes, it looks really good.
October 19th.
Samuel Steingart says, thoughts on the new Batman
Jesus.
comic that shows Bruce's privates? What? What is this?
It's DC being dumb.
What?
What is with them wanting to have Batman fuck bitches and like the whole thing with like, remember when him and Catwoman like fucked in a comic like a couple of years ago? And it popped a huge number, and then the comic basically died a death, and they had to reboot the whole DC universe inside of like 2 years.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. James Bursey says, Taron, did Eve beat you to the point that your name is now Toby?
I was just
yes,
saying that
I
before.
know it's a Roots reference. You don't have to fucking explain it to me. Bastard. No, she
Bastard.
didn't. Black Metal Gamer says, April Fool's Metal Mythos? What band to troll people? Ooh, that would be funny.
Bay City Rollers? Hanson?
Spinal Tap.
Hanson Music Mythos. I begin to wonder if you have a bargain with Kingpin after all. No matter now. The battle continues. Yes, he is a Spanish ninja now.
Oh, here we go. Metallica is the number one.
Oh, come on.
The Plasmatics. Baby Metal.
Gaga, maybe.
Limp Bizkit. Panterrible.
Korn.
Nickelback. Oh, Nickelback's too easy. Come on.
Whoa, Jesus.
Phil Collins. Not Nirvana. Not even for a joke.
Yeah, not happening.
Dayton Pfeiffer says,
Oh, what the fuck?
Hey Razor Fist, ever consider doing a retrospective of the TV series Deadwood?
Would love to.
It'd probably get fucking copyrighted immediately.
We've never had an issue with any of the Deadwood clips we've ever used.
Really?
Ever.
Ooh.
Only with fucking DS9.
Yeah, maybe one of the rappers that died recently. It'd be a short mythos. I'm sorry, I kid. That's really
Is
fucking.
that DS9 documentary out, by the way?
Is it?
Is it yet?
I don't know.
Jesus. What the fuck? How are you hiding in there? How is it even possible?
Stitch Snow donates $20. Thank you very much. You're very generous. Just wanted to say, love your channel.
Ah, fuck.
Love your content, Razor.
Oh, that's
and I want to know if you watched the Predator yet, and if you liked it.
No. Not interested. Not interested.
Not interested, he says. Scandal. David Stubbs says, EA says single-player games are dead, yet Destiny, Anthem, and Battlefield 5 all have single-player content that clearly must cost money to make.
Yep.
Why the hypocrisy?
Because they know that's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah,
If,
I mean,
if
that's
single
pretty much-
player content, if single player games are dead, how did a fucking small market first year studio create Kingdom Come Deliverance and sell over 1 million copies in a fucking week? How?
Let's see. Alex Kellaway says top 5 non-Kingpin and Bullseye
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Daredevil foes.
What the fuck is this bullshit? Holy God! What am I looking at?
Oh my god.
Oh, this is insane.
Have you made it this far before?
This is nuts! Jesus, he's fucking Super Saiyan. Alright, best I can see is keep tripping him.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go.
Oh! And then you get the Dazzler background there. You are not through yet. I never am. Unless you're Affleck, in which case.
Alright.
I love that this has nothing to do with the movie.
Oh yeah, it's a completely original game. Maybe they figured it'd be their only chance.
Right.
Um,
Any super chats about the Daredevil game?
About the game itself?
Yeah, what the fuck?
No. Alex Calloway does ask, top 5 non-Kingpin and Bullseye Daredevil foes. You already said Mr. Fear.
Yeah, non-Kingpin and Bullseye. Okay, Gladiator, Mr. Fear, the Ox. I would go, of course, Elektra.
Yeah.
I would go, shit.
Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid Mary's pretty good.
Stiltman.
Yeah, Typhoid Mary. And
Bring me a body
I
bag.
believe that's 5.
Grave Digger says, join UKIP today. Support the party of Brexit and help destroy the EU. Join UKIP today.
Seems like the EU's doing a pretty bang-up job destroying itself.
Execute Order 1776. Alex Calloway says, thoughts on the Anne Nocenti run
1776 will commence again.
of
Well,
Daredevil.
Well, we just talked about Typhoid Mary.
Yep.
I thought it had some interesting ideas, but at the same time, it was preachy and political and bordered on propaganda at times. So I'm not the biggest fan of Ann Nocenti's run. It was very, very dated in 80s in terms of like, hey guys, have you heard of this new thing called global warming? Here's a villain who's polluting. It like turned into Captain Planet for a little while, which is really cringy. But like stuff like Typhoid Mary was really good.
Max Levin says, thoughts on the Metal Machine Cedric Forsberg?
I don't know who that is.
Blazing Stone.
1776 will commence again.
Blazing Stone, Rock of Rollers, Rune Lord, etc.
Nope, never heard of him. Next.
Tyler Preston says, hey Razor, can you tell us the story about what happened with Mark Waid and Cross Gen Comics?
Yeah, so Mark Waid was like the number 2 guy, emphasis on number 2, at CrossGen, and he would basically browbeat people into making more pages and shit like that. Like he was basically a fucking dictator. And afterward, he lamented it, and he's like, oh, I can't believe I did that, but I was just trying to make the company work and all this shit. But he was just a total fucking, like, he went full fucking Castro up in CrossGen Comics. But here's the hilarious part. He wound up leaving, along with a bunch of fucking lefty pieces of shit, which is why I laugh when people say, oh, this SJWs in comics thing is such a new, late occurrence. Many of whom have only had YouTube channels for 2 fucking years. Because I remember when CrossGen was around, they tried to create a comic called American Power. This was after 9/11.
Okay.
And the cover of the comic was a United States Special Forces punching Osama bin Laden in the fucking head.
Okay.
And Ian Eddington, Mark Waid, and I think Ron Mars, a gaggle of lefty dipshits, all left the company in protest. Like
Good. They purged some awful people.
Yep. So yeah, that's the story of Mark Waid at fucking CrossGen Comics. Nice guy.
The Whale of a Dying Coyote says, mid-20s Alyssa Milano or mid-20s Mila Jovovich?
I'm not a big Milano or Mila. This guy over here is the one you want to talk to about Mila Jovovich.
100%. Alyssa Milano's always had hair on her arms.
A little bit of a wolf man.
Sorry. But Mila all the way.
She's got some Michelle Obama in her.
Sharpened Edge says,
Right in the dick.
most hated gun pet peeve, such as flicking a revolver closed.
Oh, God. What is that called? Cowboying a revolver closed. I fucking hate that. Biggest gun pet peeve. Probably... Shit. You wouldn't know what? I think you got it. Cowboying a revolver closed. Watching people do that drives me fucking nuts. It bends the fucking, the little rod that holds the cylinder in place over time. Actually, it bends it pretty quickly. It could do it the first time you do it. It could knock it out of alignment, which is gonna fuck up your revolver. And being a revolver lover, it's like witnessing a hate crime.
Yeah.
Die! Thank you.
Defending Angel says, good evening, Razorfist and Terror and Gel. When is the Mech Warrior Online Razorfist Force event, and how do I join?
We will announce it, and we'll announce it on the official Razorfist Force group, so you guys will know all about it, and you'll be able to sign up for it and That's why I wanted you guys to join the group, so that when we have events, you will instantly get the announcements. They'll be automatically sent. I think they'll even be sent to your... Do you get email notifications of those?
I'm not sure how it works.
But either way, you're going to find out about them, so... That was the whole reason I wanted to bring back the group, so that we could have events where you guys could join.
David NS84 says, Taryn, a.k.a. The Gimp, good to have you back in the co-pilot's chair. As for the movies we saw when we were kids, I saw both the 89 Batman...
What the fuck? I have to kill Daria over here? What the fuck is this?
And Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade in theaters. Cool. I got to see Terminator 2 as well. The night it came out, I actually saw it at midnight release.
Is there a more
Whole room was standing. Like, everybody was seated where they could, but there were people standing in the rows to watch that movie.
Is there a more overrated movie? Maybe Aliens?
Yes.
Gosh, what's the commonality between those two?
You know what? No, wait. You know what? Most overrated. Avatar.
There
you go.
Yeah, but people... That got some negative press afterward. Terminator 2 and Aliens are still widely regarded as masterpieces when they are objectively fucking flawed films. Alright, let's see here. I actually like the first Terminator a lot more than Terminator 2, personally.
Dirty Dan's meme stash says, Hey, Rizzer. Noticed you've been on a roll lately, so I thought I'd throw in my shekels early. Also, god damn, T-Boogie, I thought my mom was irresponsible. Hey. She's a classy lady. Shut up.
Alright, there we go. Whoa, Jesus.
Alex
Who
Calloway
is your
says,
daddy, and what does he do?
Speaking of Terminator 2,
he doesn't say that, but he says, favorite love interest for Daredevil. Oh god, which one of his many loves is your favorite?
yeah, I don't know. Probably Karen Page.
Yeah.
Probably Karen Page. I mean, Elektra's cool and all, but you kind of get into this weird cycle where she's, like, dead and not dead, and... like, is she alive this week? Although, I think in the show, the Elektra actress is a lot better than, what's-her-ass from fucking True Blood. Oh, let's see here.
Bob Saget says, Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Easy enough.
I'll give my money to the Mormon Church if it means they make a mean soda.
Gerald Stillman says, Did you guys hear that Telltale is downsizing?
Jesus Christ, people!
All their games except Minecraft Story Mode are canceled. Why is it that that one survives? Or are you just telling a joke? Simon the Slav said, oh wow. Simon the Slav donated $40. Thank you very much, sir. Extremely generous. Longtime fan, bitter-aged Polish punk. Have some clown currency that translates to goldens. So I'm literally giving gold coins.
Okay.
Thanks for the years of entertainment.
You're giving Chinese restaurants. Gotcha.
Also, I'm an old school communist, and I agree with you 90% of the time. How's that feel?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that.
But thank you very much, sir.
Jesus.
Andrea Jovanovic says, it would be pretty badass if the aesthetic of the game would be a one-to-one interpretation of either Born Again or Yellow or Out.
Yeah, Out would be interesting. I think you would probably have to touch on the Daredevil Out storyline because in order for Daredevil to get arrested, you would have to find out his identity.
True. Oh, and she also says, "Hail the Razor Fuhrer." Alex Calloway says, "Best album to begin with Alice Cooper."
Probably Killer. That'd be my recommendation. Holy shit.
Fizzonaut says, "Razor, who would you rather kill, Hitler, Stalin, or Mao?"
Mao by a lot.
Yeah, by about 100 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Although, does Stalin beat him out? I think Stalin might beat him out. Let's see here. Did you ever see that Norm Macdonald bit where he's talking to the British guy and they're talking about whatever, and the British hipster guy, of course, had read the Communist Manifesto.
Uh-huh.
And he's bragging about it, and so Norm Macdonald starts making fun of him. So he's like, "So you read the Marxist Manifesto there, didn't you? Yeah. Who do you think is a better man? Jesus Christ, Stalin." And they both bust up laughing. Just making fun of the guy right to his fucking face. Oh, come on.
Oh, God. These just write themselves. Autism is Unstoppable says, "I just watched The Godfather for the first time the other day. What is your opinion on it?"
I did not care for The Godfather. No, I'm not a big mob movies guy. So it's actually not an exaggeration to say I didn't care for it. It's not that I don't care for it, it's just not my thing, I guess.
He says, "I, for one, did not care for it."
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean? Where's the damn health pack? That's nice. They just disappeared.
Back when Family Guy was still funny.
Yeah. I still say I think the moment Family Guy died is when it went widescreen. It was never the same after that.
That's really specific.
But you really can trace it back. It's that episode where they're in the fucking mansion and the people are dying. It's that one. That's the one.
Yeah.
After that, it was never the same again.
That I can remember. That episode had exactly 2 funny jokes in it.
Oh, it was awful.
Yep. Kazikame says, "How about a Double Dragon Neon style beat 'em up? Could have Daredevil, Punisher, Spider-Man, and Jessica Jones as playable characters.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Fighting their way to the Kingpin. That would be a quick, cheap game. I would think.
That would be fucking the Punisher arcade game from Capcom.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we played.
Alpha and I did. That was the very first Razor Fist arcade, or one of them.
Rui Vasquez says, "Razor, can we get a Mad TV Steven Seagal Ninjas notification?"
Yeah, we really need to. Don't make me step off the stupid path of peace.
Richard Slammer says, "Hi, Razor. Hi, Taryn. While we're talking about our parents letting us watch R-rated movies..."
No, we're not! We're talking about Daredevil! Fucking people!
"I once conned my
God
dad
damn
into
it!
taking me to RoboCop based solely on the fact that Marvel Comics made an
1776 will
adaptation."
commence again.
That's cool.
Fucking waste this rave slut already. How big are these sewers? And where do they head to? Like, what function do these sewers serve? I'm not seeing where the shit goes.
Yeah, it's certainly not taking the shit out of New York, is it? Bear Squash says, "Hey, Razor.
But
how
enough about
a
Andrew
Phoenix-
Como.
How about a Phoenix Wright type of game to a Daredevil game?"
Well, I did mention I think there should be courtroom segments. I think instead of splitting up the game in hubs or any of that cliche bullshit, oh, we'll have different neighborhoods in an open world game, instead of doing that standard GTA horseshit that Spider-Man did and Arkham did and everybody.
Yeah.
You should break up the game into cases. It should be, and then at the end of each segment, you should have to go to court and argue the case. And then at that point, depending on what conversation choices you choose and what evidence is available to you, you should be able to succeed at the case, fail at the case, or you could throw the damn case if you don't like, if you find out something bad about the
I don't step on
defendant
toes.
or something.
I step on necks.
Nice.
Gray Goblin
Bring
says,
me a body bag.
God, at the timing. Gray Goblin says, Punisher, Spider-Man, Black Widow, Defenders, etc.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Black Widow too. I
Uh,
like of that. I amend that. My favorite Daredevil love interest is actually Black Widow.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think she gets treated fairly in the Daredevil comics.
Man, how
The whole bullshit with her and Iron Man and all these other people she's fucked. I don't know. None of them really made as much sense as Daredevil.
true. Man, how are they gonna put that together in the MCU? Is that even gonna happen?
No, because fucking. I mean, Scarlett Johansson probably would appear on a TV show, especially if it's successful. But, you know, I think the writers are just married to this horse shit with her and Captain America and fucking her and Tony Stark. And,
Oh, God.
which I don't know why. They're
Fucking
just.
let it
It's
go.
lazy bullshit. It's like
Seriously.
they happen to be on the same team, so ergo they must be fucking. Now, in the comics, her and Iron Man got together. But, I don't think her and Cap. I don't remember.
I don't think so. I'm sure someone will correct us.
I know the Avengers bore me to tears, so.
Yeah.
Aha!
Oh, and he was saying Punisher, Spider-Man, Black Widow, Defenders, etc. cameos, and is Mysterio a boss?
Mysterio could be. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the best story arcs involved Mysterio.
You're kidding me. It's her and Hawkeye now?
Is it?
Why the fuck would she fuck Hawkeye? Oh
It's
my god.
just so lame.
God damn it.
Alright. Where are we going?
Darth Dragon says,
Where are these pipes going? Anyone?
Darth Dragon says, hello Razorfist, welcome back Tyrion. Missed you in the last stream. My idea for the game, Daredevil, year one game. He is learning how to do everything.
That would
make
well,
sense.
yeah, that would be Man Without Fear, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would make the game. I would call the game Daredevil: The Man Without Fear, and I'd have the primary antagonist be Mr. Fear, because Mr. Fear is the only villain to beat Daredevil outright and just win. He just gets away with it. Period.
Wait. Hold on. I just realized something.
What's up?
Didn't she fucking die? How the fuck is she back? Did they just retcon a bunch of shit?
I'm sure they did.
Because
comic.
in the whole thing where with Captain Hydra, she fucking died. Oh, whatever. I'm beyond the point of caring. I haven't read a Marvel comic in so much time, like many.
You should be reading Daredevil.
I should.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The whole Mayor Fisk shit was really good. The thing I found most impressive about it was, you know, it's written by Charles Soule, who's a New York lawyer. I'm under no illusions of what his politics are. And yet, he did not turn it into a Donald Trump allegory. He didn't do it. It was impressive as shit. He did not take that lazy route. And instead, he turned it into a really interesting, you know, Mayor Fisk storyline. Fucking Kingpin becomes the mayor of New York City storyline. Very easily could have turned into preachy political shit.
Stitch Snow says, what if it was about bringing down the Kingpin? Like every... Oh, wait. I think you already...
Yes,
yeah,
I
you
did.
already read that. Crusader Saracen says, just got here. Sorry if it was axed before, but with...
There we go.
Senator Grassley's deadline not being met.
Senator Grassley.
Senator? Oh, he must have fucking misspelled it. I thought it was a name. Deadline not being met. Do you think Repubs will finally grow balls and confirm Kavanaugh despite the blatantly false allegations?
Yeah, it feels like even some of the neocons are getting sick of it. When Ben Shapiro finally admits that there's some fucking questions, you can bet the fucking Paul Ryan wing of the party is gonna come tumbling after pretty soon here. It's just, look, it's just not popular. People, look at that fucking poll I referenced earlier. Oh, Jesus. Look at that poll I referenced earlier. 28% of men believe the accuser, just 25% of women believe the accuser.
Dayton Pfeiffer says, what if the Hand are the main villains in this Daredevil game? They hire some of Daredevil's villains as assassins.
Could be cool. You could have like Kirigi or something be the villain, or it could turn out Elektra is running the Hand, or whatever it is.
Avice says,
how cool would it be, speaking of those Elektra segments that I referenced earlier where you can actually play lethally, what if you could play Elektra how you want, with like, you could go lethal or non-lethal, and depending on that, her interactions with Matt will be more friendly, more intimate. They'll be more connected than if she runs around murdering the shit out of people.
I like that idea. I like it. Avice says, tutorial with stick to learn stealth and fighting.
Yeah, that too. Well, yeah, that too. I think your tutorial for basic like parkour and maybe carpour. What is that? A city in fucking Saudi Arabia? But no, I think the opening tutorial that I referenced where you're sort of fleeing from the cops, where Daredevil opens the game by committing a crime, and then you are sort of shown the parkour mechanics. You might even be shown a little bit of combat. That'd be cool, but with stick, you would learn how to be a fucking ninja, right? You would learn how to use your baton to trigger your radar sense so that you can see into areas you couldn't normally see. Something's... Oh, there it is. There we go.
The movie Dr. Full says, what if it took inspiration from Web of Shadows? Choice based with a hero, anti-hero, anti-villain, and villain ending. Different love interests, too.
Could be cool, although I think for the first game, you'd probably just want to establish more who Daredevil is.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to give you too much choice on that. I would argue the story, at least, should maybe be a hair on the linear side, albeit with some forks, like I mentioned with how I think the game, instead of being split up into hubs or split up into areas, should be split up into cases.
Who is your
court
daddy,
cases.
and what does he do?
Those court cases could end differently, and that would change, who's in control of a particular area or whatever.
Rude Artist says, a relationship mechanic that has consequences? Question mark?
Well, that's what I was talking about
Yeah.
with Elektra. Depending on how Elektra plays, and who knows, maybe depending on how Matt plays. You would have to... Oh, hold on a second. Forgot I have fucking Facebook open here. Let me close that. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, gang. And
Yeah, let me check to see if we're still going.
oh, we're fine. All right. But yeah, it would be cool, and you should probably have more than just Elektra in the game. Having Karen Page in there, something like that. And of course, Charlie Cox has got to voice Daredevil.
Absolutely.
Goes without saying. He's Daredevil now, gang. He is Daredevil, period. I can't wait for fucking season 3.
Possessed Hammer says, have the graphics in the style of Bill Sienkiewicz?
Bill Sienkiewicz? Nah.
And have Frank Miller do the story?
First off, I don't think Frank Miller would do the story.
Yeah, no, not for a video game.
Well, I don't know that it's because of the video game. He's just got issues with Marvel. But who knows?
Let's see.
I don't know why he wouldn't, considering his fucking Batman stuff sucks. And goddamn, am I tired of Frank Miller writing Batman stories.
Tyler Preston says, "Hey Razorfist, have you ever read any Moon Knight?"
Yeah, of course. I read the Bendis and Malieve stuff. It was okay.
I'm just not a fan.
Read the old Sienkiewicz stuff. Yeah, he's just, like I've said on previous streams and elsewhere, I think it's just the character's too busy. You know, there's just too much to him. He's a schizophrenic guy who might have Egyptian fucking moon magic, but is he crazy? Is he not? He kills people, or does he? You know,
Has it always been the same person too?
I think there's been more than one. It's too much. It's
Yeah.
too much. There's just too much in the background of Moon Knight. They need to simplify that a bit.
Asim asks a really good question. Cell shaded to look like a comic?
I would go with no.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think for a Daredevil game, you want it to look darker and grittier.
Yeah.
So you want that texture. And cell shading something by its very nature, it washes the texture out.
Ruben Burke says, side missions are from the best comic stories. Question mark.
That would be cool. Or just little one-off. You know, there have been lots of great little Daredevil short stories. You know, there have been lots of little... You'll see them in annuals or whatever, standalone kind of stories. Let's see, what do we have? Anything up here? No? Whoa, I got it!
I'm just going to call this guy JCap. JCap says, stop Bullseye mission, like Day of the Jackal film.
Bullseye would have to be in the game. There's
Yeah.
no question.
Oh yeah, you don't have a Daredevil game without Kingpin and Bullseye.
Yeah,
You have
I
to.
don't want Kingpin to be the main guy.
Yeah.
I think the beginning of the game maybe should the way I see the story shaken out is you start off going after the Kingpin in prison. You succeed, then you get out of prison, and suddenly someone's fucking with your life, and it has all the trappings of Kingpin, all of it. You know, this goes down, this goes a little bit like Born Again, where one thing goes bad, and then another thing goes bad, and then another thing goes bad, and you lose your law practice, and you lose your this, and you lose your that. And, you know, he believes it's Kingpin, and he becomes super paranoid that it's Kingpin. And he thinks he's going nuts and so forth at the same time. And it turns out that it's Mr. Fear.
Yeah.
That would be my ideal storyline. And so because he wants to make it seem like it's Kingpin, what's he gonna do? He's gonna fucking hire Bullseye. Naturally. He's trying to throw Daredevil off. Alright, come on!
DK Unit says, most Western devs in a pretentious voice. We don't use the word fun. We give players a mature experience.
Yeah, I believe Western devs are post-fun at this point.
Rockstar, we programmed horse testicles to shrink in cold weather because why the fuck not?
Are you sure you're not talking about Kojima?
Ah,
Well, let's be honest. Kojima does that exact same thing and nobody gives him any shit. Does he not? Does anybody put more pointless shit in his fucking games that
You're beginning to irritate
doesn't
me.
actually add anything?
Asim says, idea...
Whoa, what was that? Oh, fucking sweet. Damn.
Asim says, idea for a side mission, adapt Daredevil Yellow.
Well, Daredevil Yellow is sort of an origin story. And actually, Daredevil Yellow... Oops. Daredevil Yellow includes a bunch of stories from the Stan Lee run. So that would really, an adaptation of Daredevil Yellow would really be more like an adaptation of the old Silver Age Daredevil stuff. Whoa.
The Last says,
Oops.
how about something like the Persona series with a day and night cycle? In the day, play as the lawyer, and by night as vigilante. And during the day as lawyer, you can gain information about criminals.
Yeah, could be cool. The only reason I would say it might not work is because I think, like I said, I think the game would be better split up into cases. So that, like... Because how do you... To me, like, you should be playing Daredevil most of the time. And then at the end, you should turn into Matt Murdock. Because I don't think playing as Matt Murdock would be as much fun as playing as Daredevil.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. I think like 90% of the game should be playing as Daredevil. It could very easily turn into a Desmond from Assassin's Creed situation. Where it's like, God, why do you keep pulling me out of this kick-ass Daredevil stuff so I can play as this geek?
I would say have the lawyer scenes like set pieces almost, but like have a chance to like use your hearing to listen to the heartbeat.
There'd be like interrogations and stuff.
It would be really cinematic, is what I'm saying.
Let the invasion begin. See, this is why we need the wall.
Yeah, in the sewer. You know what? Build a wall around New York. I knew a movie about that once.
Indeed.
I heard it was pretty good. Hey,
put one around LA, I'm just saying.
I dropped this bomb on Razor Fist just last week. Wrap your head around this, guys. Michael Myers wrote Escape from New York. Yes, Michael Myers the killer.
Yeah, the guy
that's pretty awesome.
The guy who plays Michael Myers.
Bo says, Razors. No. That's not me. He's asking, is that me at the beginning of Abraxas? No, that's somebody else.
No, that's the Rebate Master. That's my old broadcast partner from my radio days, actually. And he is going to be on an episode of The Depths of DS9 at some point, because he's a big DS9 geek. So, no, that's the Rebate Meister.
And, where did I leave it? There it is.
I actually found a few of those old talk radio episodes that we did. Oh, let's see here. Boo! Ah, shit!
Al's fan says, good evening, Razor and T-Boogie. I will be... God damn it. Stop fucking moving. I will be starting a welding class this Monday on a PC college campus. Wish me luck.
They still teach trades on college campuses?
Amazing. You know, something useful.
What kind of fucking cosmic bunny hole did you fall down?
Stealth Creation says, who would voice Elektra?
Why not go with the actress? She's great.
She's really good, actually.
I mean, look, her previous work was, that,
I actually don't know.
That Egypt movie? The fuck was that?
Oh god, the one with all the white people.
Yes, that one. She was in that.
Was she?
That was the right before she did Daredevil. That was like the last thing she did.
Wow. Patchouli says, so down to brass tacks, let's discuss HUD elements.
Yeah.
Many a good game is marred by either an overly cluttered or outright shitty HUD.
Indeed. I think for Daredevil, you would obviously have a radar. I mean, he's literally got a radar in his fucking head. But it should literally function like a radar. It shouldn't be like, oh, hey, look, dots on a fucking circle. It should be, this dot's making noise. So it flashes on my radar. And for the most part, because people are so noisy, you would be able to see those dots most of the time. It wouldn't be like they vanish and then you don't know where they are. It wouldn't be like that. But just, it would be more like they were blinking on and off. And of course, the sound around them would illuminate whatever's around it. It would be a real radar. So I think you would need that. Direction is a must because that's a natural part of having a radar sense built into your fucking brain. But it would be a smaller, up at the top, out of the way. And then of course, whatever equipment. I think, there's definitely equipment in terms of weapons. I think you would have variants of the Billy Club, because the great thing about the Billy Club is it can be a bunch of different things, right? The Billy Clubs can be the, what do you call it? They're like fucking nunchucks, basically. You can have them be basically nunchucks. So there would be like a nunchuck mode. There would be Eskrima sticks mode, like Nightwing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the exact reverse of that. Nightwing ripped that off. Or you could turn them into the full-blown fucking staff, right? So you would have like a staff mode, or you could fight hand-to-hand or whatever. So you would have to have some way to indicate that, but I would say by default, whatever you equip, the HUD would vanish after you're done with it, so it's kind of out of the way. But something as simple as like a D-pad menu would that would work perfectly fine.
Let's see. Brian Cox had a really good question. Would Father Lantom make an appearance in the game? Would Matt's Catholicism play a part in
the confessions?
story?
Yeah, you would have to have confession segments. Just as part of the story. I don't think it would be like a gameplay mechanic or anything. Oh, shit. Man, this is brutal.
Goob asks, actually he donates 1776 and asks, you said you were into punk before you were into metal. What were your preconceptions of the metal genre during this time? Were any of them negative?
No, they weren't. No, I didn't have negative preconceptions about metal. I was just into punk. That's all there was to it. In fact, my first show was a metal show.
What were your initial thoughts when you started listening?
I got into metal in reverse. So I got into the more obscure bands first, and then sort of got into the priests and the maidens years after that. So it was like a weird... I don't know. I got into like hardcore, not just black metal bands, but like black metal bands that most people don't listen to or don't even know exist. Fucking Bloodstained Dusk, who at that point were really small, or Ibex Throne, or like all these smaller, a lot of American black metal, stuff like that. Finnish black metal. And then I sort of worked backward to the Accepts and the Motorheads and stuff. Although I always liked Motorhead. That's not true. I was always into Motorhead.
Melphis Sky asks, who would you want to do the 3D models design for the characters? I guess that would be...
Like, what company would be best for that kind of thing, I guess, is what you're saying?
I guess.
Man, yeah. I guess that brings up a bigger question of, aesthetically, what is the closest to what we're talking about? I hate to say it because I think the game is shit, but maybe Arkham Knight? Arkham Knight had very detailed character models.
They used the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, Arkham Knight had excellent detail to the characters, and there was a real sense of grit in the world, which was not necessarily true of Arkham City and Origins. They got a real graphical overhaul in that game. It's absolutely beautiful. Still one of the prettiest games this generation, in my opinion. A shame the game is such a turd.
Goob says, Metal Mythos, Jeff Scott Soto?
I don't take requests on Metal Mythos, and I'm certainly not doing Soto! All right.
And let's see. Bob Saget says, let's pitch Razor Fist the video game. Maybe one day. James
You know what that would be? It would just be me on a motorcycle with a shotgun in a fucking post-apocalyptic 80s city. That's all it would be.
You know what? I'm okay with
Nothing but heavy metal and synthwave soundtrack. You're just a bounty hunter on a motorcycle, riding around with a fucking shotgun. That'd be my Night Renegade starring Razor Fist.
James Bursey says, attention,
got it.
Bajoran workers. Anyone caught in a sabotage attempt will be subjected to 26 hours of Canar with Dumar. Survivors will be shot.
Ducat did nothing wrong.
Bring me a body bag.
Perfect timing.
Jadzia was body bagged by Ducat doing nothing wrong.
Kartik Isola says, any interest in the upcoming Fist of the North Star game? It looks badass.
Not really.
I do. I'm gonna fucking buy that.
The last one sucked.
Oh, yeah, but it was a different company. Gives me dat shit says, here's $1. Will you be my wigga?
Ooh. No.
Elijah Stimson says, how open would you want the Daredevil game to be? And how much
I would
could
want
you
it-
customize Daredevil himself?
I would just want it, like I said, I think it should be a smaller surface area but deeper simulation. Because Hell's Kitchen is so small, it already lends itself to that.
Yeah, definitely mankind divided.
Because you already saw New York in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I agree with Polygon on that front. I don't think you need to model New York again. I think you should just focus in on Hell's Kitchen and render it with a lot more detail and simulation than Spider-Man. I think there should be points in Hell's Kitchen where the enemy population is so severe that you have no choice but to sneak through. Because your character... We want to emphasize in Daredevil that Daredevil is a ninja. He's a fucking stealth character.
Absolutely.
So you ninjas sneak. That's how it works. Except for surf ninjas. They surf.
And as far as customization goes, I kind of like the system that Spider-Man's got going on.
Oh, with the different suits?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the problem is there's really no incentive for using the other powers on your suits. Like, there's never really any reason to change from the one where you fucking...
Spin and shoot web everywhere?
No, the one that makes your focus meter charge faster. Which, no fucking focus meter, please. That is a stupid-ass mechanic.
Yeah, superpowers on the Daredevil game would be a no-no. Like,
Well, he's got superpowers, but it gives him more perception. It gives him more edge in subversion and stealth. More, like, it's less about physical abilities and more about mental ones.
Stitch Snow says, did you ever read the Spidey 9/11 issue?
I did,
actually.
Yeah. It was very good.
Tyler Preston says,
It's funny because they weren't sure they wanted to go there. I remember. They were like,
yeah.
not sure they actually wanted to publish that issue. Because Marvel by that point had not done like a real world events comic in a long time. It's hard to imagine now that Marvel is nothing but fucking real world events. There's hardly any superhero shit anymore. But yeah, they were actually reticent to do that. And now I wish they had a little bit more of that reticence back.
Tyler Preston says, what about a game where Daredevil teams up with Ninjak?
Maybe Grifter from the Wildcats.
Oh my.
Or Gambit.
Oh yeah, Gambit. You know that Gambit movie's coming out soon.
Yeah, Daredevil and Gambit.
One day.
I think Daredevil and Gambit did have a team up at one point.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, Gambit is a fucking ninja?
Kinda. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
it.
he's a literal ninja. He was trained as a fucking ninja.
Empire Builder says, hey Razor, I just finished my first few weeks of college, and I have never seen such a festering pit of SJWs in my life.
You have
Hell,
never
my
seen.
English textbook has crap like Bitch Planet and Migrant Pro-EU propaganda posters in it. Oh my god, really?
I believe it. I believe every word.
Crusader Saracen says, Razor, can you define for me as thoroughly as possible just what the cyberpunk genre is?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
What is, hold on, let me, what is the it gets cut off. What is the key definitive requirements and characteristics are? I'm somewhat new to the genre, but intrigued by the philosophical depth of it. Rock hard and ride free.
It's the cyberpunk genre is one of the reasons it's so often paired with film noir is because they share a lot of the same philosophical tenets. Paranoia, the feeling that the world is out to get you and you're fucked and you're fighting an uphill battle. Only in cyberpunk, they turn the authorities that are out to get you into the world. You know, the system is out to get you.
Yeah.
In cyberpunk.
The man.
Yeah, that's really the formative, like, one of the core tenets. All the other stuff, hacking and all the cliches that have come to be identified with cyberpunk, those are kind of optional, honestly. You know, those are the trappings of cyberpunk, but they aren't the totality of it. Oops. So I feel like as long as you have the paranoia, there's a convoluted quality to cyberpunk that you have to have, or else it just doesn't feel cyberpunk anymore. Like, there's a reason why Blade Runner has such a basic plot, and yet it still manages to seem convoluted in a weird way because of how it's written. Whereas Blade Runner 2049 is way too simplistic. Really weird. That's why it doesn't feel cyberpunk. I mean, I guess Blade Runner 2049 feels cyberpunk-ish. It doesn't feel very noir. And Blade Runner's supposed to be cyberpunk noir.
Yeah. I would also say that it's not so much that everyone's got metal nailed to them, but it's the message of, like, being a slave to technology.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Technology versus humanity is a big theme in cyberpunk.
Rocket launcher.
Oh! The fucking rocket launcher.
Damn you and your rubles. I still call them rubles. S-Serpent21 says, you saw Diamonds Are Forever? Scale of 1 to death race. Rate that Mustang car chase. I say breaks the scale on 2 wheels.
It was pretty cool.
Been to Alice Cooper Towns?
Yes, I have. Unfortunately, it's closed now. I believe Alice Cooper had to close Cooperstown 2 years ago. Something like that, which is fucking bullshit. It's an Arizona institution. Boy, that light rail is bringing lots of business downtown, ain't it? Boy.
Yeah.
Really is.
But I like
the
I
Alice
like that car
Cooper
chase.
Alice Cooperstown was right in front of the light rail station downtown, by the way. It was literally right in front of it, and it's still closed down because the fucking light rail helped so much. What the fuck is this? What am I even?
I wasn't aware Daredevil ever fought Morlocks.
Jesus. What the hell? Oh, I see. Only his head is vulnerable. Holy shit. Just keep comboing. Oh, shit. Holy fuck.
You're gonna end up in Japanese hell. A disgrace to your ancestors.
Damn it, they keep fucking up the combo. Oh, shit. Fuck. Got him!
Nice. Woo! Also, what the hell was that?
That was a character from the Frank Miller Daredevil run, I believe. Oh, no. That was... Fuck. What was it? Sewer God. This is all a reference to when Vanessa Fisk was supposed to have died in the building rubble in the Frank Miller run. Do you remember this?
No. It's been a while.
You need to read that shit again.
Let's see. Dayton Pfeiffer says, for the Daredevil game, would there be training missions with stick? Actually, somebody else brought that up, and yeah,
I
I'm
think
totally down for
those
that.
would be where you learn how to stealth.
Yeah.
Basically. Where you learn how to sneakify. And as far as outfits, you were referencing the upgrades and shit with the outfits. I mean, come on. wouldn't it be cool to be able to mix and match with the red outfit and the armor from the black outfit?
Yeah,
and you could sort of hodgepodge an outfit together if you wanted to, sort of customize it, because there's a lot of Daredevil outfits, guys. Believe it or not.
Okay,
there's the black outfit from the 90s with the armor, the black and red one. There's the old school yellow one. There's the red one. There's a few variants of the red one, actually. There's the movie one from 2003. There's the Netflix show. There's a second Netflix show one. There's the new black outfit that's in the comic books. There's actually quite a few outfits, and there's actually more than that, but I'm having a brain fart. Oh, Foggy!
I'm not even going to attempt to read this because it looks like your cat walked across your keyboard. So I'm just going to call you Indra. Indra says, can we use Clanner Tech for the Mech Warrior event?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Because we're very anti-Clanner.
Oh, well, I was just fucking around.
Alex Calloway says, what role should Uric and Foggy play in the game?
Uric.
Ben.
Well, Uric is a good source of clues. So if you're trying to figure out what the Kingpin is up to, and it turns out that Mr. Fear is there, then he would obviously be feeding you information. Maybe you could have Ben Uric. Maybe he's working on a story, and so you could have sort of side missions where you're helping him, and in exchange for you helping him, he drops you more and more information on what, air quotes, Kingpin is doing to you. And you gradually unravel the mystery of Mr. Fear. So that'd be a good way to... And then Foggy? I mean, Foggy's just your best bud. He covers for you in court when you're not there. Be kind of cool if we're separating each section of the game into cases instead of hubs. Maybe if you get your ass beat and if you get your ass beat on the final guy, you don't get to make it to court, and Foggy has to cover your case for you, and it fucks up. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be interesting.
Just my idea.
Indra donates again and says, the Russian church eventually recovered from Stalin. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for the Chinese religions. Fuck Mao.
Yeah, I know more about Russian Orthodox than most people do. I don't know why.
Mr. DJ Flyhigh says, where would you fit the Punisher, the Defenders, and Spider-Man into the Daredevil game if they make it into something similar to the Gauntlet games?
Yeah, Spider-Man would just be a cameo.
Yeah.
Kind of like, isn't Murdoch, doesn't he have a cameo in Daredevil, in Spider-Man? I haven't run into it yet, but I've heard he might have a cameo in it. He does, Matt Murdock does have a cameo in Punisher.
Yeah.
He pops in.
I don't know if Matt Murdock is in it, but I know you can, like, find his house. Just like you can find,
you can find his brownstone apartment.
Doctor Strange's, place. What the fuck is it?
His Benedict Cumberbatch Cabbage Patch?
Yeah.
You're right. With his tiny little ferret eyes.
Brian Bear says, Super Sentai or Kamen Rider?
I'm going Kamen Rider on that one.
Lucifer says, what is 150 yards long and eats potatoes? Communists in line for meat. That's pretty good.
I'm calling for Daredevil. Sounds like another payday for Daredevil. Who's paying Daredevil? Let's be honest.
Avi says, I had a rather early...
I just remembered I have to go down to the Braille Law Library. Don't know when I'll be back. If I come back with bruises, it's nothing, Foggy, I swear.
Avi says, I had a rather early one that hasn't been read yet. Well, you didn't put it in this one, and I can't go
Oh my
back.
god, is it Echo? Is that Echo? Yep.
Yeah, it is. Holy shit.
Kingpin isn't paying me. She should be in the game, by the way.
Yeah.
She should be in a Daredevil game.
Honestly, just put it in the chat. I got the chat up. You can repeat your question in the chat. I'll read it, okay?
Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you want to bet, moves-wise? She's just a reskin of Elektra?
To chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
All right, there we go.
Where did I leave off? Here we go.
Yes.
The Great Motivator says, how about a Defenders of the Earth game?
Ooh, well, that's a whole other stream. Phantom game.
Bring me a body bag.
Who's Echo? Asks Tyler Preston. Echo?
Oh man, you
Is
got to
the
read the Kevin Smith, or the early Bendis stuff rather. You got to read some of the recommended Daredevil comics, my friend.
Should I actually spoil that or just leave it there?
She's Deaf Electra,
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
essentially. No, she's she basically is like Taskmaster, essentially, in that she can copy any movement she sees because she's deaf.
And there's a reason for that.
Yes, yes, there is.
Oh, god damn it, it flipped. There we go.
And she's Ronin in the New Avengers as well.
Dinner Mints says, I live in Northern AZ and have a pretty cool little podcast studio. Would you ever want to come hang out? Go ahead and just contact us on Facebook. And,
What's Northern AZ? What, Flagstaff?
he doesn't mention. But yeah, just contact us there and we'll talk. Did Avice ever say what the question was?
Oh, shit. Fuck you.
Almighty Malachi says, to steer this back to pitching a Daredevil game,
Thank you.
should there be a dynamic between Daredevil and factions? Sorry, that got cut off. And factions like the Hand for things like getting access to certain info for cases, among other things.
I think it'd be best to use allies to get info, because you'd want the Hand to be used as part of the plot by Mr. Fear, or whoever the fuck is the antagonist. Ah, shit. There we go. Come on, bitch. Fucking Crocodile Dundee looking motherfucker.
Adarantha Wanderer says,
Whoa!
what do you think about DMC style like switching for parkour, billy club combat, and stealth combat?
I don't know about switching, but just having your equipment mapped to sort of a D-pad menu so you could use a different piece of equipment for a different situation makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not super familiar with DMC, so... What the fuck? Where do I need to jump out at? Hold on. Should I wait for the subway to go by? Is it gonna go by? Is that even a thing?
Gridley, you can just ask a question. I'll see it in the chat. I'm reading it now. Wes Lindstrom says, anyone said FPS with a black screen yet?
That was my very first comment. It would save budget.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not wrong.
There we go.
Midwest Mage says, following the lawyer side of the game, I'd like to see him give legal advice to other heroes. He's been a lawyer for many of them. Would be fun content.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Yeah, maybe as a little, like, nod and a set piece and kind of a cameo moment. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't want to make it one of the core mechanics of the game or anything, but, you know, just a little kind of wink and a nod. Did I miss something over here?
John Smith says, just got here. Missed you, T-Boogie. Do y'all think this New York Times
You're gonna end up in Japanese hell. A disgrace to your ancestors.
Rosenju thing is a setup?
What are you talking about, Rosenstein?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Sounds to me like he's the fucking inside source. Pretty
haven't
fucking
really
obvious.
been
And he should
following.
absolutely be fired. He should have been fired a long time ago. Rod Rosenstein has no fucking rabbi in the government. He's eminently fucking fireable. Let him fucking loose. Let him go. The guy's basically conceded 100% that he's a fucking mole. And he basically came out and said he was going to record meetings that Trump had to convey the, quote, chaos in the Trump administration, which is quite illegal. Quite illegal. Even saying that is grounds for firing. That's ridiculous. And it's absurd that anyone would say Trump is a fucking despot for doing so, but such are the times we live in.
Strange Skulls says, how about for the story, is Matt solving a string of crimes trying to connect it to the Kingpin?
Ah, fuck.
But it's a red herring to ruin his bid for mayor.
Whoa, shit. Yeah, Mayor Fisk is another possibility. I mean, the thing that made me cringe about the fucking Polygon article was the argument that fucking, because Kingpin is a Daredevil villain, there's no point in making a Daredevil game now because he was already in Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, he was in it for like half a minute. Now, he looms over the proceedings, which honestly, to me, that just hypes up Kingpin more for a Daredevil game.
Yeah, it was just a taste. Bob Saget says, Daredevil, Uncharted, Devil May Cry-esque action set-piece fest.
And fuck yourself.
Gridley says, maybe the Daredevil game could include a system of recruiting and using agents to help you with enemies, like an Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Nah, you're thinking of a Shadow game now, sir.
Yeah, I think we actually.
We actually talked about that
Yeah,
in the Let's Pitch a Shadow video game. Oh.
Lord Banger says, VR compatible Daredevil with Kane periphery. It would still be a black screen. David Ennis84 says, besides mainstays like Karen Page and Elektra in a relationship system, there should be original characters you meet while investigating cases.
Yeah, I would say at least one or two original villains just for the game.
Such as a morally ambiguous femme fatale and a damaged damsel in distress.
Oh, I forgot.
With different morality paths.
I forgot Lady Bullseye. You'd want Lady Bullseye in there too.
Oh, God. Saber Aaron says, I bet you don't care, but thoughts on the Daredevil versus Nightwing death battle coming up?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Bob Saget says,
These are the same people who said Goku would beat Superman.
honestly.
Goku is a low-rent Japanese Superman. Let's be real. Like, cut it the fuck out, people. And I don't even like Superman.
Bob Saget says, dialogue wheel?
You would probably have to have something, maybe not a dialogue wheel, but something approximating it for the courtroom segments at least, and probably for talking with Ben Urich or whatever. I mean, you'd have to have something. I hate dialogue wheels, but you'd have to have at least a dialogue list. I would prefer, as always, to have your full responses listed instead of some stupid one-word summary that's insultingly vague.
And let's see. I apologize for this one. Crusader Saracen says, Lord Terran of Gels, I just wanted to say you're appreciated, and this channel would not be what it is without you. Do not listen to the usurper Eve. Please say, Mendoza! As loud as you can. Deus Volt, you magnificent bastard.
It's my new ship, they'll live forever. think I'm done for. Oh, quit talking crazy.
That kind of hurt. Saber Aaron says, you think they will bring Daredevil into the MCU? No, they're cowards.
I think they could, but they probably won't. I don't know. Look, I think Daredevil works really well for a TV show because he's one of those characters. I agree with Kevin Smith on this. Kevin Smith is one of the biggest Daredevil fans on planet Earth. And he was talking in the special features of the fucking movie about how Daredevil's not really he's not a character you can just see a thumbnail image of and instantly be interested. Daredevil's a character you have to try on for size. You have to take him for a test drive. And then you're way into the character. Whereas with like Batman, you can just see an image of Batman fighting the Joker and you're just like, holy shit, where is that and how can I buy it? With Daredevil, I mean, even though there's awesome artwork and cool posters and what have you, he's a character you have to read the stories from beginning to end and get invested that way, which is why he works in a television mode, because it's episodic, it draws you in, it incentivizes you getting into the character, and I think it's like the ideal format for Daredevil, actually. Which is why a video game would be so great, because it's not just a snippet. It's you're hanging with the character for an extended period of time, telling a full story, and getting invested that way.
Asim Justin suggests, what about a dialogue system based around the opponent's heart rate increasing the stress?
Well, yeah. When you're talking about interrogations, which the game would have, no question, yes. Not unlike the Casey system from Deus Ex Mankind Divided or Deus Ex Human Revolution. I absolutely see that. That would be part of your lawyer shit, though, I would imagine, for the most part. Although, you would imagine there would be interrogations, like imagine those lame interrogations from Arkham Asylum, where you just, like, grab the guy and then there's just a pre-scripted dialogue sequence. Imagine that not being pre-scripted. Imagine that being an actual thing.
Yeah.
Where you're going back and forth and, you know, his heart rate is going up or down, and this is how you can tell if he's telling you the truth or not. It doesn't even need to be that complicated. You know, just if his heart rate is jumping up, he's either scared or he's not telling you the truth. Simple as that, and you have to decide. Doesn't need to be some big production.
Joss Ricketts says, Assassin's Creed Rogue had one good idea. You can get ambushed by enemy assassins from the random hiding spots. Not a bad feature for a Daredevil game.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad for, you know, suddenly ninjas! That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Let's see. Brian Paul says, Razor, I'm a longtime fan and always wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on the Metro games and the band Slayer?
I am not a big Metro guy. Terangel has played a lot more of those.
They're good. I like them. And Slayer?
I hate Slayer with a flagrant ardor that banishes all fear.
That's pretty good.
I despise them. Plus, why does Slayer need to happen in a world where Sodom exists?
Keep on rocking it, man. Nobody roasts as hard as you. Well, you just proved that.
Whoa!
Stitch Snow says, did you watch the 90s Spider-Man episodes where Daredevil, when Matt plays Peter's lawyer?
Yes, sir. And Kingpin's in them as well.
That would be a cool bonus mission. Yeah.
Grant me revenge.
And if you do not listen, then the hell with you.
I could easily see there being, like, team-up missions and shit. Hell, and the cool thing is, if the series goes on, if you do more than one Daredevil game, you could maybe get into, like, co-op stuff a little bit with, like, just beat-em-up segments with, you know, Blind Spot or Elektra or somebody like that. But that would be down the line. I wouldn't want that for a first game. One of the reasons Spider-Man is such a fucking appallingly short game I mean, Ben Shapiro fucking short, this game. It's like 6 hours, 7 hours if you just go from plot point to plot point.
Really?
Yeah, super short. But one of the reasons Spider-Man's so fucking short is because, it's the first game. They had to build all the systems.
Yeah.
So you spend more time making things rather than telling your story. So for the sequel, you're able to play with those things, add a few little things on top, but really focus on making a nice, long, in-depth campaign.
William Sova says, thoughts on the Fall from Grace mini from the 90s?
I'm not as hard on Fall from Grace as some people are. I actually like it. Chichester's run is just underrated in general. I especially like the stuff he did with Lee Weeks before that. Oh, Jesus.
Gravedigger says, if your cases have real-world consequences, what if you only get paid for a successful defense? Example.
Naturally.
Throw a case, that's not how you spell that. Throw a case so a pedo goes to jail,
Yeah.
but you don't get enough money to upgrade your equipment.
I dig that. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. God damn it, stop moving.
Oh, that's where it is.
Lucifer says, did you miss my first super chat? Not the joke one. This is the first one I've seen from you, Lucifer. So, I'm reading chat, guys. I'll just see your questions. I'll try to, anyway. Sorry, Lord of Darkness. Black Raptor! How you doing, man? Hey, Razor. What do you think of the old Frank Miller comic, Ronin? Seems like that one is mentioned so little of Miller's work.
Yeah, it's that was really the comic where Frank Miller was reading a lot of bande dessinée and a lot of manga. So he basically combined French comics and Japanese comics in that one. It's really interesting. It's actually pretty good. Doesn't get mentioned enough, I completely agree. But that's one of my favorite Frank Miller comics. Oh, come on. Ah.
Gun Puncher says, so let's break down the combat a bit more. I was thinking a mix of Yakuza and God Hand, where you use light and heavy attacks to break blocks and attacks for grabs, launches, billy club throws.
I like that. I like that, although I would throw the heavy attacks out. No heavy attacks. This is a ninja, right? This is a guy who relies on agility. Kind of like Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't have any heavy attacks. He just has launches, right? Something like that. Something like that. Oops. There we go.
Oh, here we go.
He would focus more on dodging than on blocking, although I would hope it would work better than the fucking Spider-Man game. I fucking hate the dodges in that game. It can be very, very frustrating. The combat isn't that hard. It's just the dodges don't always work the way you want them to. Spider-Man kind of dodges wherever the fuck he wants to, and that can be a real pain in the ass. Here we go.
Lucifer says his first super chat was, got your shirt in the mail a couple of days ago. Would you want the Daredevil game to be in normal color tones or in how Matt Murdock sees?
I said at the outset, third person looking normally, but Matt Murdock should only be, the player should only be able to see what Matt Murdock sees, in the sense that if a character isn't moving or making noise, they should be invisible and you should just have kind of a sense of where they are. Whether that means there's like a red mist or a weird kind of a radar vision thing over there. What I'm thinking is there's only going to be a few enemies in the game that lay perfectly still and you can't hear their heart and ninjas, basically. Hand ninjas or something else supernatural. Tombstone, who is, technically dead. he would sort of be, you couldn't see him on your radar unless you were bouncing your billy clubs off the walls or whatever, and you see him in radar vision. That's what I would think. The only enemies that are going to be invisible to you, and they're very rarely, are ninjas and shit. And you would have some kind of way to convey visually that there's something there, but you don't know exactly where it is. Something to that effect.
Best way killer, go ahead and just ask.
What the fuck?
Because I'm not seeing it.
Oh, shit. Ah, fuck.
Scarfy the Strange says, Daredevil, Ace Attorney. That's actually been suggested a couple of times. It would be fun. That would be the DS version.
All right. Oh, here we go.
David Ennis.
Like I said, I think it would be more than enough lawyering to wrap up the case at the end and have to sort of account for how well you actually investigated.
Best Way Killer asks, when are we getting the Konami X-Men game on the Razor Fist Arcade?
At some point. I love that game.
Yeah, me too. I've owned it on multiple consoles. Let's see. David NS84 says,
Ah, shit!
how about a morality system with confession, where Matt may or may not receive absolution? Maybe with a dialogue system which affects his meditation.
Here's the problem with that. I mean, I had thought about that before, but here's the problem with that. If you would have to find a way to limit the confessions somehow. Because as long as there's a church around, you could theoretically use it if it's an open world experience. It's not like super open. Like I said, Hell's Kitchen's very small. You just want to make Hell's Kitchen super detailed. So who knows? If you're making it more detailed, then maybe the earlier suggestion of day and night cycles would make sense. That way, the church wouldn't be open all the time.
Yeah.
So that could necessarily limit the ability for you to achieve absolution.
Nathan B.
But that's not a bad idea.
Nathan B. just donates $20. He doesn't say anything, but it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Saber Aaron says, 1. Screw Attack said Goku could never beat Superman because he is too OP. And number 2, why does this game's idea sound a lot like L.A. Noire?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's kind of Grim Revel-ish. Grim Revel was the guy who did the fucking soundtrack for the movie. He actually did a really good job, actually, on the movie soundtrack. It's not mentioned enough how good that soundtrack actually is. Oh, here we go. And for a Daredevil video game soundtrack, you'd want something along those lines too. Kind of a dark, synthy, sort of a noir feel. Like I said, Jesper Kid would be awesome for that. And here's the... In terms of developers, let's just say it here and now. Square Enix has the Marvel license. Nobody should make a Daredevil game except Eidos Montreal.
I'd like that, yeah.
Fucking, they have the license. Eidos Montreal have nothing better to do. They're working on some Avengers bullshit or Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever the fuck is rumored. I have no interest in a Guardians of the Galaxy game from Eidos Montreal. Make a fucking Daredevil game. It's right up your alley. Like, it's...
Elvis, I'm sorry that you can't send your question. Apparently, there's a limit.
Is there?
Yeah. Saber Aaron, I already did her. Crusader Saracen says, I got a new job at a big casino as a bartender. Good money and benefits and everything, too. Here's to new opportunities, gents. Also, Razor, please opine on why America is the best country and Euros and Canucks can take their smugness and shove it. Godspeed.
For one thing, we're not about to ban memes. So there's that. There's the fact that our government hasn't completely disarmed us yet, unless you live in the People's Republic of Chicago.
Good night, Best Way Killer. Have a good one.
Oh, shit. I mean, here's the thing. If you're in Europe and you get a shit hit the fan scenario, what the fuck do? You don't have any guns.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, you might have access to a knife. Although, look at Britain; they've pretty much banned knives as well. They can fucking. What are they regulating butcher knives now? Like what the shit?
No, they're fucked. They're fucked.
I mean,
have you seen those videos of hundreds and hundreds of people storming borders?
Yeah, I just
washing up on the
in
beach?
a shit hit the fan scenario. I think you're better off in America. Because at least in most states, even in the super liberal ones where they've basically banned guns, you can still get them. So even if you go through all the license bullshit and pay all the money just to have a basic constitutional Second Amendment right, at least if shit goes sideways, at least if, the electric grid goes down or some fucking bullshit, you would be able to defend yourself and feed your family, and you would have some way to take care of yourself. That would be... Plus, there's more natural resources here anyways, because Europe had so many fucking centuries of agriculture. A lot of the land is, utterly unusable for agriculture. Permaculture was not really much of a thing back then. There's a lot more farmable land in the United States.
Melphis Sky suggests, how about having Kingpin's crime syndicate fighting a gang war with the Hand for control over the city's criminal underworld, and Daredevil has to take down both groups?
Could work, although, Kingpin's just as likely to pay the Hand to do his bidding as he is to fight them. Fuck!
Gaku says, nothing you guys come up with will be as boring as Luke Cage Season 1. Nothing's that boring.
Or Punisher Season 1, for that matter. How did they fuck up Punisher? How did they do it?
James Burson. Did I see your chat?
Some of these might be on YouTube. Remember, we have a list of super chats on the YouTube page.
Yeah. James Bursey says, also, would you shill my comic if you think it's any good?
Hey, I'll shill anything that I like.
Yeah.
People who watch my Daredevil videos, I'm shilling those hard because those are things that I like. I'm happy to recommend things to people that I dig.
Yeah, you can always contact...
Speaking of which, there was a dude sent me his comic a while back. Oh, fuck, I wish I could remember the guy's name. And it's called Six Gun Gorilla. And it fucking rules! It's so good! He sent me, a free review copy. I feel bad that I haven't reviewed it yet. But he just gave it to me for free and was like, hey, if you dig it, maybe mention it to your followers or whatever. Seriously, guys, if you dig, Westerns, but, pulpiness and kind of a weird... sort of, because this is based, I believe, on an old pulp story. Six Gun Gorilla or Two Gun Gorilla. I can't remember which it is, but yeah, really good. It's a gorilla that's a gunfighter. It sounds ridiculous, and it is ridiculous, but it's good. It's very good. Good art.
Remember, guys, you can always, if you need to message us or send us stuff like that, you can contact us on our Facebook page.
Yeah, that was on Facebook, that guy sent.
Or Twitter, or you can get at us on Gab. Real Captain Marvel says, any chance for a modern Judge Dredd game?
Oh, I would love to. Although the last Judge Dredd game was pretty good. I mean, they weren't far off with that game. Thing about a Judge Dredd game is I hate the idea of it being a first-person shooter because Judge Dredd looks so fucking cool. You want to see him. You want to see your character Judge Dredding the fuck around, right? That's why I love the Super Nintendo game, which is super underrated.
And
one of the best, Metroidvania-style 16-bit games of that era.
Joseph Burton says, they could make the game world like Mankind Divided and have small but detailed areas that could change with progression in the game. Yeah, we actually said that earlier. We want it to be like Mankind Divided, where it's just really deep and detailed.
Yep.
Even though that the area is small.
Exactly. Smaller surface area, but more depth. So that, like, maybe you would have a full-blown, like, RPG conversation system. So that, like, there's less boring NPCs that have nothing to say. Fuck, I keep falling to my death.
Gun Puncher says, I want to hear more about what you're thinking here. So, light attacks and launchers? Would you have a sidestep and a boxing dodge or a flip?
That's what I'm thinking. You would have a parry instead of a full-blown counter button.
How much would you toss in grappling?
Grappling, yeah, I would have full-blown Sleeping Dogs grappling system. The exact same grappling system as Sleeping Dogs, where you can grab people if you've knocked them off their game or whatever. You can grab people and sort of add to the combo by walking them over to a wall and jamming their face into the wall, or walking them over to a car door and slamming their head in the car door, or walking them over to a dumpster and throwing them in the dumpster. You know what I mean? The Sleeping Dogs executions, the Sleeping Dog grabs, and you could even from a grab hit the punch button again and, turn that into a whole martial arts, grab combo thing. That would be my idea. Just a full-blown Sleeping Dogs grappling system, and have a parry system instead of a full-blown grab and counter system. Like not like Batman Arkham Asylum. Think Sleeping Dogs.
All right, and Gravedigger says
By the way, we need to play Sleeping Dogs on one of these streams.
They effed up the Punisher because SJWs don't want to realize that being an angry drunk Marine vet is actually a superpower. Semper Fi and Godspeed.
It's spooky. Like, it's so difficult to fuck that up. And they did it. It's like, objectively, and I hate to say it, Punisher might be the worst Netflix show. Like, it might be the worst. And there's some, like, fucking Iron Fist was terrible. And Luke Cage was real bad, too. But Punisher might be worse. It might actually, it's like half a season is really what it is. That show should have ended after, like, the 4th episode.
Oh, and we've got one more here. Excalibur Forge says, what would be some collectibles you could pick up in the game?
Ooh.
I.e. character trophies, storyboards.
Yeah. God, what about, like, hand artifacts? What about... I am a big fan of collectibles that actually you use. Like, what if you picked up pieces of shit to turn into an outfit? You could go over to Gladiator's place and have him put your outfit together.
Yeah,
if you have enough pieces of it, right? Like, you have pieces of armor and you have pieces of lycra or something, and then you take it over to Gladiators once you have 4 of 4 pieces or whatever, and he makes the armored Daredevil suit for you. What about that? Like, I think that would be pretty cool. Or like Daredevil's yellow outfit. What if, because Daredevil's yellow outfit was stitched together out of his father's boxing trunks and his boxing robe. So what if, like, you found all the pieces of your father's boxing outfit at, like, different boxing gyms or something, and then you could just stitch that together yourself, or have Gladiator do it for you, or whatever the fuck. That'd be kind of cool. I'm a big fan of collectibles that are not just, hey, you found 1 of 100 Echo feathers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck that shit.
Collect all the flags.
Oh.
And
Give me something for collecting this shit.
the last one comes from Party Omelette, who says, who would win, Daredevil or Solomon Kane?
Well, it depends on the kind of fight. If it's hand-to-hand, Daredevil wins hands down. If it's more of a ranged fight, Solomon Kane's probably alright. Although Solomon Kane is one hell of a sword fighter. But so's Daredevil. Daredevil can katana some bitches up like nobody's business.
And that is it. We are caught up.
Bitchin'! All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sweet. I can't believe we didn't beat the game over the course of this
is
stream.
surprisingly a long game.
It's a long game, bro.
like,
Holy
I thought I was like
shit.
halfway or something.
That's nuts. Let's see here. Stealth Creation says you missed his third one.
Stealth Creations did? I thought I read them all.
Let me look up. See if there's anything. Stealth Creation. I don't see anything in Super Chat from him, so it's probably Streamlabs. Boop, boop. Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, wait. Here we go. Along with the idea of Daredevil's senses being used for sensing details, treat attacking like third-person VATs. Choose details of injury on opponents. These then can impact the trial Murdoch must influence. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, you could absolutely... What I picture for, like, investigation with the radar sense is, like, say you've got a dead body in front of you. You go into Murdoch vision, and then you sort of have an option to sort of zoom in on the body. And then you can sort of see an X-ray blood red outline of the body. So that you can go from sort of organ to organ. Okay, the spleen is not damaged. The lungs. Oh, look. He has a ruptured rib. Oh, look, he was suffocated with something. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I see that working. And of course, that evidence would play into your trial mechanics as well. So, ladies, gentle things, I want to thank you for joining us here on this Let's Pitch a Daredevil video game live stream. Oh, hold on. One more. Somebody just donated. Owen Hart's Zipline Adventure.
Oh my god.
So in this theoretical game, would there be a lot of diving from high places? How would one stick that landing asking for a friend? Would we dress as the... Oh gosh, now I want to put a blue blazer outfit in the game.
Oh god.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, goys and goyim of all ages, I'm Razorfist for Terran Gale. Ha God, ha fucking, ha speed.